Hey everybody, this is Bo McManus from HairNetRadio.com, and I got another special edition coming at you right now. Most of you know him from Jack Russell's Great White, but today we got a very special guest here to talk about his special project, Shadow and the Thrill, right here on HairNetRadio.com. I'd like to welcome the show, the man himself, Mr. Tony Montana. Welcome to the show, brother. What's going on, man?
Hey, gosh, I am just hanging out here at home for a couple days and just getting ready to get out there and do it all again, so all's well.
Excellent, man. I just got back from Vegas, as you know, checking Great White out at Red Rock Casino last weekend. You want to talk about a show that was off the hook? That was it, man. I'm still high off that show, man. It was an incredible set.
Actually, we had a good time as a band too, and that always translates out there. So it was good fun. Totally.
It was, man. Well, it was such a big show. I flew out there from Toronto. The Minnesota chapter of the Hooligans were out there, Jay and crew, and everybody was just blown away by the show, man. Everybody said it was well worth the trip out there. I was so glad that I made it, man. It was well worth it.
That's cool. No, that's awesome.
Excellent, man. So tell us a little bit how you got this project together, Shadow and the Thrill. How did it come about?
Well, I had been some tracks for quite a while, some tunes, and they were songs that really didn't fit with some other things I had done over the years, and so I just kind of been sitting on those tunes, and I submitted them actually originally for the Jack Russell's Great White album.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the focus of the album kind of shifted while they were doing it, and I kind of just, they didn't really fit there, I guess, anymore, so I decided I just felt like the need to really crank out, actually, five tunes. I really wanted to do just these 5 songs and really do an excellent job and do it the way I wanted to do it. It's been a long time since I've been in the studio in earnest, and so I decided, I picked the 5 tunes that I'd been sitting on for quite a while, and one additional cover that, actually 2 covers that I'd always wanted to do, and I called my my go-to drummer musician, all-around musician friend, Brent Arsenet.
Right. Yeah.
Said I want to do these songs, and how do we work together? Because I've done some other things with him here in California, and he's just a phenomenal musician and player, and he lives in New Orleans. And I thought, man, that's perfect because I love that town. I love the vibe there. I'm coming to New Orleans and we're going to do this. And so I got on a plane, packed up the guitars and went to New Orleans. And that's how we started the first five songs. We did Misery. We did our cover of Gnarls Barkley, Crazy.
Yeah, which is excellent, by the way.
Oh, thank you. We did Ready to Roll.
Shake the Devil.
And no, we didn't. I don't think we did Shake the Devil the first time around. We did, gosh, been so long already. Misery. Yeah, that's only good grief. We did, Love Song.
Right, yeah.
And I can't remember what the other 5th one is right now.
Unaware?
It's going to drive me to the end. No, that was written. That was the last thing written, which is typical of an album where the very last song and everybody, you're ready to wrap it up, and this one pops out, and that one really is good. But those first 5 tunes were really important to me, and as personally,
Yeah.
And so that's what I pushed for. And we went out there and knocked those out. And so once we started mixing it and passing it around to friends and industry people, we were we were advised to make it an entire album. And so there I went back out there to New Orleans a couple more times, and that's when Just Enough, Unaware, Shake the Devil, The Grind, all those songs kind of just appeared there.
Yeah.
You know? The first five. Sugar Bowl was one of the first five.
Yeah, Sugar Bowl. There you go. And you have 2 versions of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is cool. You got 10 songs. I was going to say the great thing about that with the writing process, once you get started on get some songs out, you just keep steamrolling with it. Ideas keep coming to you and everything. Did you find the ideas after the first 5 completed that it just came a lot easier, the songs to you after that, the next 5?
You know, it's funny that it really did. And I had put so much effort into this first round of 5, and I thought maybe it'll be an EP or whatever. I don't know, just something I do for myself. And it was a kind of a relief, right, to get them done and get them out. And then when we got pushed, kind of prodded to do more tunes, I was like, the other ones just kind of wrote themselves. It just really happened quickly.
Yeah, once you get in that writing mode, it just starts snowballing after that.
Yeah, and I was at a point in my life, I was in a very, very, I was finishing a kind of a very rocky relationship at the time, and boy, that doesn't help. That doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? It hurts personally, but it doesn't hurt the songwriting process.
Yeah, musically, some of the best songs ever written were written in those situations, for sure.
Absolutely. So it was a tough time, and so we knocked out those tunes. Actually, I came to Brent for the next 5, but actually we recorded 7, and 2 of them are not on the album, but I came to Brent, and he saw all this material just kind of appeared, and he's like, "What have you been doing? You've been smoking peyote, man." And these things. How did you get all this done? And they all were of a quality that was really worth working on. So I'm really excited right now that we're starting to really get it out, and people are starting to hear it.
I would say you certainly got a lot to be excited about. I mean, I got to say that the tracks on it are amazing, and the tracks we've been playing on the station, people are just going crazy for them, literally. I mean, people are so excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I get people I get people messaging me all the time asking me, when is this coming out? We want to get our hands on it. So, I mean, that's obviously, if that's not a good sign, nothing is.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I have to say thank you for, by all means, for being, supportive. And, we'll make sure that you'll be the first one to get, some of the new stuff. We got one more. We're going to release the Love Song next, and there'll be in a, lyric video that accompanies that. And then once we've released 5 songs, we're gonna put the whole album out. So that's the plan right now.
Yeah, which is excellent, because like I said, so many people are anxious to hear it, and certainly once they do hear it, they won't be disappointed. That's for sure.
I hope not. I'm feeling pretty good, and every little bit that we let out, we get more and more response, and it seems to be growing. So that's a good trend.
Well, I think the thing with the album is it has that real personal touch. All the songs really have their own identity on it, and I think it's very accessible for people. I think they can definitely connect to it.
I hope so. I'll be very, I'll be honest about it in that these are really, it's been a real personal trip for me, and these are not, these aren't just a bunch of tracks that we just kind of threw together and somebody came up with a riff and we, made a song around it. That's just not the way that it happened. It is deeply personal, and my goal at the outset of it was I thought, I'd like to make something that I can, and this might sound, fatalistic or anything, but I want my kids to be able to see something that I have done on my, not just on my own, I did with Brent, obviously, but
yeah,
something I had done that I really felt was excellent,
Yeah.
and that they should know, and for their own life going forward after I'm gone, they should always aspire to try to do whatever it is they're doing in their life. If they're an architect and they're making a building, or if they're writing a speech for the president of the United States, I don't know what they're going to do, but to craft it and to always strive for it to be excellent. So that's what I was shooting for, and I did the very best job I could, and so that's where it's coming from. I hope people pick up on it, and I hope they dig it.
I think they really will. I mean, especially for the blues style you got added to it, the rock and blues style. A lot of people can't really get that down too well. I mean, a lot of people attempt it and it comes off kind of sideways. But I mean, on this album, you really sort of captured the essence of it. The album definitely comes together to make a statement.
It's funny that it's kind of been branded that, and I never really thought about it, but that's what comes out of me, I guess. And people are identifying it with it as more of a blues push, and I've heard, people are making comparisons, and not that I, take it lightly or believe it, or sit around and pat myself on the back, but people, I think they're seeing it more as like a Gary Moore-ish kind of a thing.
Yeah, I can certainly see that. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, there's a guy that I've always just loved. I mean, I'm a crazy Thin Lizzy fan. And was a fan of his on his own too, in his solo projects. So, I really appreciate his style of guitar playing, and so, yeah, man, I'll take that all day long, and I hope I guess I do see some of the parallels there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that'd be awesome.
But I mean, the reality is, no matter what artist it is or who it is, everybody's influenced by somebody. I mean, that's a given.
For sure.
Because for 90% of people, it was looking up to somebody else that got them into music the first place.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One of my biggest influences, and maybe it's not as evident throughout the entire album, except for maybe one track, which is the next single called Love Song, is I love Cheap Trick. I'm a big fan of that band. I'm a big fan of all those bands, those late 70s bands, but Cheap Trick, Aerosmith, Thin Lizzy, AC/DC, all that stuff is it's so potent, man. And Fleetwood Mac, whatever, of course, and Zeppelin and all that stuff for sure. But, yeah, all that stuff is all those guys. I mean, I'm kneeling at the doorstep there. They're the guys.
Yeah, they're definitely impressive. Just to switch gears for a minute, speaking of all your influence and everything, when did you really start to get into music? Where did the music venture begin for you?
I would imagine as just a very, very little boy. I mean, I just found a picture of somebody just forwarded me a picture of me with a guitar at 2 years old. I'm literally swinging the guitar at 2, and my parents had sent me a picture of me standing on a table with a bar of soap singing "Hey Jude." So, as like a baby. So I don't know. I think it's always one of those things. It's just kind of been innate. And then once I actually started picking up a guitar and playing around with it, around 8 years old, I was pretty much gone. That's where I was going to go.
Was there one artist that made you want to take it really seriously? I mean, was it Gary Moore that you heard that you said, "Man, I really want to do this"?
I think when I was a kid, and I'm talking like 13 years old or whatever.
Right.
I think it was just there was no guitar player or guy in particular that I thought was. I think I like the idea of playing. I would say maybe the closest thing to that would be Peter Frampton.
Yeah.
Because Frampton Comes Alive comes out, and I'm listening to that thing nonstop, and I had a little guitar, and I was trying to play along with it, and of course I was probably awful, and sing along with it. My voice is probably cracking and getting crazy with puberty or whatever. But yeah, that was interesting to me, and I didn't really. It's funny. I would look at the album credits.
Yeah.
I'd look inside and I'd see his band. I'd be like, that looks like a fun job.
Yeah.
Not so much Peter Frampton. Actually, his band, I think that the guitar player guy was named a guy named Bob Mayo. And I was like, I guess I wouldn't mind being that guy. That looks cool. My babysitter had a Bread album.
Right. Yep.
And actually was a cool album. It had a lot of cool more up tempo rocky tracks on it too. And there's a picture of these guys in the airport with the guitar bags, guitar cases, and they're sitting around in the airport. They look miserable, right? But
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that looks like a decent job, I guess.
Yeah, they've been up for 3 days, but it looks great.
Right, and then, lo and behold, there I am sitting in Denver Airport, for 12 hours, just going, wow, yep, I guess this is what I asked for, so here I am.
So, you originally played bass in Great White, but you were a guitar player before you were a bassist, or the opposite?
I played guitar since I was a little kid.
Right, and then bass just
since I
came
was a
later?
kid. Yeah, what had happened is, I really started to study music in earnest in college. I started at UCLA and started really studying music there. And because I had never had really lessons, or nobody had taught me really music before. I'd had little, dabbling, but never really anything intense. As soon as I started studying in college, and of course about that time I was pretty into the whole neoclassical thing, and I was like 17 years old or whatever, and that whole just guitar shredding thing, I was all about that.
Yeah.
All about it. It was because it was challenging, it was a fast, and I became really pretty proficient at that, and I ended up having a lot of students.
Yeah.
At a music store, kind of a major music store in the LA area called Hannett's Music. And so I'm teaching guitar, and I'm just getting all these students, and all of a sudden they say, you know what, how about teaching bass too? And I thought, well, yeah, why not? There's basses all around in the store, and I would always take them down and play around with them. I thought, why not? To me, I looked at music as a bass clef and a treble clef. So it's just music. So yeah, whatever. Let's do it. And so I started teaching bass as well, and that's how I ended up getting that gig. One of my dear friends that was a salesperson there, Stephen Williams, who was the co-writer of Save Your Love for Great White. He kind of got me the audition, and he got me in there. And thank God, I put down, I erased the chalkboard, so to speak, as far as guitar is concerned. I ended up concentrating on bass, and what Great White was doing, and what Alan Niven, my manager and my mentor, really, in so many ways, about concentrating and focusing on song structure and blues, based, music, rock music.
Yeah.
thank God, thank God I took a break. I kept my chops up, right?
Yeah.
But now I was really learning something so much more valuable than what I'd learned in college.
Yeah.
I
Life
studied
experience.
di- I studied, diatonic and chromatic theory in college, and I was writing classical music pieces, and it there was some value for me as a musician for sure, but the grand scheme of things, boy, sitting down and having me learn, Lady Luck, to do on one of the Great White covers albums,
Yeah.
playing bass to that and learning something like, wow, what an education that is.
Yeah.
And it breaks down music. It breaks it down. The bass is such a underappreciated position in the band, because it is a position of great responsibility, because you are the bridge between the rhythmic and the harmonic, and that guy cannot mess up. So
It's funny.
I love it.
Yeah, it's funny too because I never really took notice of it when I was younger. When I was younger, I was always a total shred guy. Like my hero when I was a kid was Vinnie Vincent. The first time I ever saw him. Yeah. When he replaced Ace and Kiss, I thought he was the guy. I remember the first time I seen him, I said, "Wow, that guy was cool." He had the Jackson Rhodes Model V, and I said, "Man, that guy's awesome." But then when you get a little older, when you get a little older, I started noticing the bass more. All I was looking for was the ripping solos and stuff when I was a lot younger. And then when you actually sort of take it in a bit more, you actually notice the whole songs as opposed to just the Guitar Hero shredding on it.
For sure. And once I did start really getting an appreciation of that instrument and its role, then I started really paying attention to to music, the popular music, and what the bass is actually doing in a lot of that music. And the truth is that in rock, it doesn't have in rock, like hard rock or heavy metal, it's a different role. But I found myself really drawn to more of those 70s type bands, and like Earth, Wind and Fire, or like even like the Doobie Brothers. You realize that the bass in that era, I feel, much my opinion, that the bass occupied a different part of the mix back in those days. It wasn't a subsonic instrument. It wasn't made to back up the bass drums so much. It was a melodic instrument, and it was made. Those bass lines were they're so good, so interesting. Fleetwood Mac, amazing bass lines.
It's funny too. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Fleetwood Mac, because I remember for whatever reason some of the simplest bass lines are so, like the song Dreams. The bass on that is so simple, but somehow it just, I don't know. There's just some vibe to it that takes you into it, even though there's nothing technical about it. It's just it's just so amazing. I mean, I've always said that too with Angus Young. I'm not saying his guitar playing's not hard, but I mean his guitar playing is so brilliant. But there's nothing there's nothing off the charts in terms of technicality to it. But that's what makes it so brilliant.
Well, and even to take it, actually for me, I take it even a step further than that. I look at Malcolm, and you realize that band really is just nothing without Malcolm. Without Malcolm's right hand.
Yeah.
Malcolm's right hand is what swung that band.
Yeah.
He swung that band, and that's what gives it that's what makes it bouncy and fun and makes it sound like rock and roll.
Yeah.
That guy, him and his brother together, obviously, and the whole everybody together makes it amazing. But
Yeah.
But learning that, you can't even. I don't even think you can learn that. I don't think you can learn that sense of timing and groove.
Yeah.
That has to be innate. You have to just have that to end up, where they ended up.
I know, and it's so funny because I remember years ago I had a friend that we used to fool around with guitars together, and he'd always kind of criticize AC/DC in the sense they say, I can learn anything they've done in like 15 minutes. I said, okay, but could you have come up with it? And I said,
Yeah,
that's the
right.
whole thing. I mean, you may look at it and say, well, it's quite easy to learn, but could you have thought of that or something better? Probably not.
Oh, well, I mean, there's no doubt. There's no doubt where the genius of it is.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah, because I remember as a kid just listening to that stuff, thinking myself, even though it was simple, I thought, man, how did he come up with that? It was just brilliant. And that's what made it. It just shows you sometimes that less is more. You don't have to play 300 miles an hour or 320 beats per second to make it good.
No, by no means. And the other thing I think I did learn too, and one of the good byproducts of me changing and really concentrating on bass for a while is that it made me. It helped me to realize something that I am good at,
mm-hmm.
that is innate in me, and that is a sense of rhythm and groove that is unique. So that's something I didn't realize that I had. I've always had it, but I wasn't put in a position where that was the thing that I really had to trade on. And as a bass player in Great White, I had to find something that, I wasn't just going to pound out, just pound out the old songs. I wanted to come up, with a bit of an identity too, and I wanted to contribute to the writing of the band. So these were all good things that came from me playing bass, and I do really enjoy it. I had a ball. I went out with Slash just for a little bit. By the way, it's Slash's birthday today.
That's right, it is. Happy birthday to Slash.
I sent him a text, a happy birthday text earlier. And playing with him too. I mean, you realize where that what a role responsibility that bass is in those songs, in those Guns N' Roses songs and his tunes. It's no joke, man. A lot of fun. I really loved playing bass on my own album.
Yeah.
Whereas playing guitar is a bit of a chore because it has to be a little more exacting, or
right.
or that there's going to be a little more magnifying glass on it. Whereas bass, I found myself tracking songs over and over and over again just because I was having fun doing it.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
Yeah, it is, and I'm a different person when I put it on,
mm-hmm.
and I do have a couple of really great instruments that I did get from that tour with Slash and from Music Man, and they're amazing. I use those on the entire album.
Yeah, they have great stuff, Music Man, for sure.
Oh yeah.
I was going to say, too, the great thing is the albums you played on Great White, too, you really carved out your own identity on the bass. I mean, it definitely had...
I tried.
Yeah.
I tried to. I really wanted to contribute. I didn't want to come into the band after they had a successful album, and I didn't want it to be me. That was the reason for not having another successful album. So, yeah, I wanted to make sure we got in there, we mixed it up. For sure.
And I was going to say, you really did do well on simply because of the type of band Great White is, really blues, bass, and everything. With other types of music, they're a lot heavier and a lot louder. You can the bass gets sort of drowned out a lot, and people don't even really notice it. But when you're doing something like that, the bass is really open there, so if it's not well, people can pick up on it right away.
Absolutely. It is more it got to occupy a little more of a melodic part of the band,
Yeah.
and that's a testament to Niven, Alan and Niven, and to Michael Lardy, and to Kendall too. Kendall is always a proponent of having things be very melodic,
Yeah.
and supportive of a blues structure for sure.
Certainly, House of Broken Love was definitely a testament to that, for sure.
That was a fun one.
Yeah.
A lot of people point to that track, and I'll tell you that as a rhythm section, that at the time Audie Desborough and we took that song very, very seriously. And I would say we probably spent several 12-hour or 8-hour days playing just drums and bass, that song, and orchestrating every hit, every fill, every bass fill, every little movement. And when we went to track it, we didn't need any other band members in there. We just tracked it as bass and drums.
Yeah.
It was a single take, and it feels good. It does feel nice.
It is. The vibes of that, I'll never forget. I remember going out and buying that at Sam the Record Man in Toronto on cassette. And the first time I listened to it, back then it was tape, so you keep rewinding parts if you wanted to hear it again. And that first couple minutes where you just have the bass, the drums, and Mark throwing off those licks there, literally that whole section, every time it got near the end, I would rewind it and start it over again at that part. And I think I listened to the first half of the song 30 times before I actually listened to the whole song. There was just something about it that kept pulling me in.
Right on. That's great. Mark did a great job. Everybody did a great job. I mean, obviously, it's all really, really well done. And I'm very fortunate. And I have to say that I'm a little, I'm a little bothered that we haven't been able to get up to Canada to play. Out of all of my awards that I've gotten over the years from Great White, I have Canadian, gold and platinum albums, and I feel as though, it's time for me to get up there. If not with Jack Russell's Great White, then I certainly want to get up there with Shadow and the Thrill, and we'll do Great White tunes. There's no doubt about that.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, man. Paying tribute to the legacy, right?
For sure.
I was saying there's so many people that are so anxious to come and see you up here. So I mean, Great White is really huge in Canada. They certainly hold a huge legacy here.
Yeah, we're going to get up there and we'll knock out a couple of tunes and hopefully that they'll get a kick out of what we're doing with Shadow and the Thrill, because it's not too far off the mark either. So I think they'll get a kick out of it.
Yeah, it's definitely not one extreme to the next. They're both really, really classic, great stuff. Really bluesy. It really certainly fits together for sure.
I can't wait.
We're anxious to have you, man. So how long do you think before this album comes out?
I would say we might be looking at the very, very end of summer.
Right. So
maybe the
just
very
time
beginning
for
of fall.
Yeah. That's perfect time
Probably.
to put the record out.
I hope so. It just kind of worked out that way. Like I said, we've got one more single with a video that we're going to do, and our the cover of Gnarls Barkley Crazy seems to be getting kind of a lot of attention from folks, in our business. So I think that's going to be the fourth single, and at that point we'll release the entire album so people can hear the whole thing.
Yeah, and people are really going to look at that's going to be a really big album. I predict it. I'm calling it now. It'll make my top.
All right, man.
It'll make my annual New Year's Eve. I always do my top picks of that year. Actually, last year, 2017, Jack Russell's Great White, He Saw It Coming, was the number one pick for 2017.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
All right.
So I can see Shadow and the Thrill winding up the number one pick for 2019. You never know.
All right, man. All right.
We got to
That
do
could be
that,
good.
man.
Right.
Do you think that, how do you like where the music industry now? I mean, obviously it's changed drastically and a ton of people don't like where it's headed. Do you like the convenience of it now with the accessibility to the fans and it doesn't cost 300,000 to make an album anymore?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I think it's all kind of relative. I those large recording budgets, and if you think about it, the way that they made albums back when that was the norm. Um, an album was a serious undertaking, and you had people, many people involved. You had a producer involved
Yeah.
that got, a huge fee probably.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
A guy like a Mutt Lange
Or a Beau Hill.
or right, or whatever.
Yeah.
Those guys, that right there, having that and having a facility to record at that is world class, and being able to have access for a couple months just to go to really make something special.
Yeah.
That's why it costs so much.
Yeah.
And I guess it's better. I guess it's cool that I could make the album that we just did for just a fraction of that.
But at the same time, you kind of miss the process a bit.
I do miss the process of it. I do miss. Yeah, how awesome would that be to say, okay, guys, we're going to go to whatever.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a studio that I even give a shit about. Compass Point, Bahamas. We're going to go to Compass Point, Bahamas for 3 months, and we're going to have Mutt Lange produce, and what kind of a life is that? That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Now the problem is that people don't understand is that a record company can give you a couple $1,000,000 to make an album,
Yeah.
but they want it all back.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's basically a
it's
loan. Yeah.
It's basically a loan, and so there you go. So it's nice. I think that we're making. You can make a fantastic album with very, very minimal.
Yeah.
Very minimal funds and resources now these days.
Yeah.
And the truth is, listen to Heartbreak Hotel.
Yeah.
Listen to Heartbreak Hotel. I mean, that. I think they stood in a room for 8 hours or something doing that song, and the drums are too loud. Push the drums to this corner of the room and make the bass player come closer to the mic. I mean, that was mixing, right?
Yeah, that was long before Pro Tools, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah. Right. And I dare anybody to go listen to that. It's fucking beautiful. It's amazing sounding. It's wonderful because it's just great music, and it's captured, conscientiously at the time, with the technology that was available at the time, and it sounds fucking great, man. Beatles albums, good grief. I mean, you can't. They're amazing. They're amazing, and so you can do a lot with a little. You can really make a great piece of music with not a whole lot of effort these days.
Yeah, and I admit I'm a physical product guy. I'm not big on the MP3s and stuff. I still enjoy going out and buying the CDs or buying the albums and stuff. I think that escapes a lot of people now, a lot of younger people. But the funny thing is, lately vinyl has come up so big, which is actually a big glimmer of hope. I mean, because so many people are taking an interest in it now.
I can't wait for us to do vinyl. We're going to do limited edition vinyl of this album probably towards the end of the cycle.
Yeah. Which is something, yeah, that'd be awesome to see that. I mean, now people are almost insisting on it because I've seen a few releases that come out lately where people are like, what, no vinyl? I mean, people are getting into it that much.
And you know what? I don't have a turntable, but I want one. I really do, because it really, it does sound awesome.
Yeah.
It really does sound awesome. And I think my album is going to sound great
Oh, it'll sound fantastic.
that way too.
And it's the perfect type of music for that, man.
Yeah,
It's
right.
got that whole vibe.
Big
Yeah.
and warm.
Yep.
Right on. Right on.
It's got that real wide sound, that really cutting edge, really bluesy tone to it. You get some excellent tones off vinyl. You get that warmth off vinyl that you can't get off anything else.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Analog, there's something to be said for it.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
I'd say a lot of people missed all that. I think for me, growing up during that time, I feel lucky because there's so many things that people now, millennial, totally don't get. They look at stuff back then and think it's so primitive, but I mean, it was actually a lot of fun. I had a great time. And that escapes a lot of people. Yeah, it escapes a lot of young people. They look at it and they just don't get it at all.
Yeah, there's nothing like going through the bins at the record store.
Yeah, I remember every Friday night, me and my buddies were going down there. And
I mean, CDs was a kind of a letdown, right? Like, it used to be vinyl, and you'd be looking at this big format and big pictures. And
well, yeah, it was the presentation, right? Yeah. And then, and then I remember sometimes you'd buy the albums where you pull the sleeve out, and it was just that clear, sort of tainted plastic, or smoky plastic,
right?
And you're like, oh man, because you were disappointed.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you wanted the picture sleeve, and then you pulled it out, and you're like, oh man.
Oh wow! Yeah, that's funny. That's funny you mention that. I totally get that. Totally get that. But yeah, we're going to do a limited edition vinyl of the album. The album will be called Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll be doing that probably just a little while after we get the CD and obviously the album on iTunes as a downloadable thing. So.
Yeah. It's a lot of convenience now, too. I mean, like I said, I miss the other stuff. But it's great that you have the accessibility to the people. I think that's the one great aspect of social media, because you can sort of keep in touch with your fans and let them know what's going on.
For sure.
Because back then, basically, your outlets were Metal Edge, Hit Parader, stuff like that. And if you didn't get in there, you didn't really have access to the people.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad to be able to see folks, and you know, we see a lot of the same folks at some of our shows, and it's awesome.
Yep.
It really is. We appreciate them. There's no doubt about it.
And I always say this almost in every interview I ever do. Wouldn't it have been incredible if you didn't have the era of digital downloads? It was still all physical product, but you had all the social media like Facebook in 1989.
Wow.
I mean,
God, that's an interesting premise.
Well, I never even thought of that, because I had one person on the show, I forget who it was, I'm trying to think, and I said, imagine how many records you would have sold, and he said to me, you would have sold like 12 million on every album. With that kind of access and reach with social media, everybody would have quadrupled their sales back then.
I suppose so. If people, it's an interesting world that you can. What I've noticed about it is that you choose what entertains you so much more specifically. Obviously, like last night, you know, I don't even have cable TV any longer. I don't have time to watch it, so I just don't have it. I have internet access, and I'll watch whatever on, you know, YouTube. My idea of entertainment is, you know, watching a YouTube video about the restoration of Elvis Presley's BMW 507, little convertible. That is entertainment to me, right?
Well, that's what it is, yeah. Certainly anything you're a big fan of and stuff, you totally take an interest in it, yeah.
You can find it. I mean, it makes it a little difficult for us to get attention, to get mind share. And I'm hoping we get enough mind share so that we get some decent, you know, we sell some albums, and we go out and sell some tickets, and we're able to go out and entertain people and make a go of it. You know, hopefully we get enough mind share and to do that. And more would be great, but that's all. I'd be happy with that, and just getting out and playing for folks and having them just enjoy the album.
I gotta say, man, if you guys don't get this out on the road, I think that would be one of the biggest travesties of the year to not get this show out on the road.
We're doing everything we can.
Yeah,
I mean,
'cause
most definitely.
Yeah,
So,
I think it's certainly such a great, and it's definitely an album that really is best in a live environment. I mean, it's great to hear the album, but to actually go and see it live as well is just a big bonus to be able to do that.
oh yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to get up. Most definitely can't wait to get up to Canada and the UK and in Europe. So that's where we've actually been planning that as from the get go, originally when we were talking about doing this and maybe going out starting to play live. We definitely are looking at those parts of the world as opposed to just the United States, because the United States is it's huge and it's difficult to cover sometimes. But I'm a big fan of all the other markets, the Asian market, Japan, Canada, UK, Europe. I can't wait to get out there.
Yeah, it's got to be the biggest rush to bring that music to all the people, and certainly to get that instant gratification from a live audience.
Oh, it's been fun. We've done some shows. We've done a lot of support shows for Vince Neil,
Yeah.
and Quiet Riot, and Lita Ford. So some of my own from my own genre of folks too. So that has been really awesome. I was surprised, so pleasantly surprised, right? I mean, you don't do it because you think nobody's gonna like you, but at the same time, I didn't expect such a warm response, and for people to really take an interest and to pay attention, and they have been. And so I think we're doing something right, and we're going to get out there, and it's going to be our brand of show and our brand of music, and I can't wait to get out there and do some more of it.
Like I said, it's getting such a huge reaction, so you can definitely tell there's an excellent pre-buzz to the whole thing. So I think that's really a great sign, because a lot of times you can tell ahead of time that nobody takes an interest right off the bat. But I noticed with this, so many people are so into it. Misery dropped, so many people took to it. Then Shake the Devil hit, and people were really excited and still excited about those tracks.
Yeah, we just decided, recently that we're going to put out another track before we do Crazy, the Gnarls Barkley tune.
Yeah.
I think we'll see. Hopefully, we'll see a nice uptick, and people will like that. And yeah, I'm getting excited about the whole process now.
So speaking of Great White, are you guys gonna get ready to do another album soon?
I know that when Jack's talking about us doing, well, first of all, the acoustic version of Once Bitten that we did.
Yep.
Is going to be released, I think, very soon, and that turned out pretty cool. I thought I thought it turned out pretty awesome.
Yes.
And then as far as another original album, I think that's definitely in the future too. But for sure, what we'll probably do is to mark the anniversary of Twice Shy as well. We will most likely do an acoustic version of Twice Shy. So,
did you guys ever consider doing sort of a lot of things people are doing now, where they're doing an anniversary of a record in their entirety live? Is that something you guys have even thought about, or it's not something you've thought about at this point?
We knocked the idea around to do Once Bitten, and we actually worked it up.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we kind of abandoned the idea. Honestly, I think it needs to be, we would need to be on our own, it would need to be on a tour. And it would need to be centered around that idea right there. Like, this tour, we're going to do like a tour, a proper tour.
Yeah.
Out on buses and the whole thing. And and this is what we're doing for the next 3 months. We're going to play all these markets, and we're going to play this album start to finish. I think that's a great idea. It just didn't really materialize.
It's probably just the timing's a little off, yeah.
Could be, maybe for Twice Shy. Who knows? Maybe
that would be excellent, yeah. Certainly it'd be, yeah, you have to do one for the anniversary of every album. There you go. You'd be on the road for 3 years. The World Domination Tour.
Right. Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm just thankful to get out and work and play, and that people seem to come out and have a good time. They're having a good time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like I said, the show at Vegas that just passed that I was at, you could see the energy in the crowd. Everybody was just so excited about it. And always seeing that sort of thing for me always reinforces the fact that you always hear the critics and stuff say it's over, people need to hang it up and stuff. And I would say that's bullshit. Because everybody says, oh, people don't want to hear new music, they don't want to hear this, they don't want to hear that. But that's not true, because the people speak for the whole situation. Clearly they do. They're showing up. So obviously somebody wants to hear something that all these critics are saying they don't want to hear.
Yeah, I'm just so thankful. And we see a lot of the same people, and year after year, and they look like they're having a ball. So that's good. That's really what we're put on earth to do, apparently. So I'm glad everybody's coming out and having a good time, and hopefully we just get to continue on and do new stuff.
And how many more dates do you have on this tour? I know you're off for a few days now.
With Jack Russell's Great White,
yeah.
We have periodic dates throughout the next several months.
Yeah.
And we normally doing more weekend type shows where we fly out on Thursday. I've got some Shadow and the Thrill shows as well coming up in September, and then we're going to Shadow and the Thrill will be on the Sammy Hagar's High Tide show here, right down the street from me. I mean, I literally can see where I'm going to play.
And when is that, so people can check it out?
That is going to be at the end of September, September 28th, 29th. And, it is a huge festival here in Huntington Beach, California. I think 40,000 people a day for 2 days.
Wow.
We just kind of snuck on the bill there, and apparently, Sammy approved of us, so he liked what he heard, and so we get to jump up and do a little set. So.
Well, that's excellent. So anybody in the Huntington Beach area, Shadow and the Thrill, you got to check them out live, man. That's going to be fantastic. Mark it on your calendars. Do you got any other dates confirmed at this point, or no?
Nothing in particular, but whatever we do have, we'll post, and we have a very active, Facebook, Instagram, and website. So, we'll make sure everybody knows what's going on.
And I'll make sure I put up all the links for all your social media and Facebook and everything for the handful of people that don't know. Now, for booking, if people want to book Shadow and the Thrill, they can go through your booking agent, which is Kim Harvey, correct?
Yeah, Kim's been doing some wonderful work for us, and she's Live Music Indiana, and she's super lady. Or if you can't go that, you can always just go through the website and do contact at shadowandthethrill.com, and we'll make sure it gets to her or to our management.
So definitely, people, if you want to see Shadow and the Thrill, I know you do. Call your clubs, call your venues, tell them to reach out to livemusicindiana.com, or you can reach them at telephone 317-870-1100 and tell them not that you want to, that you have to see Shadow and the Thrill at your venue. Anywhere, you go out there and you tell them you demand it, or you won't come back if they don't book them.
Nice.
That's right.
Nice. We're going to start employing some strong arm tactics here, Janet.
That's it. We'll have to have a protest outside every club. It'll be on CNN Live. You'll
That's the way
turn
to
on
do
the
it, man.
TV one morning and go, what the hell is going on? And then realize, wow, they're out there protesting for me.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm all about it, man. I'm all about it. We just want to get out there, and yeah, it would be great to play for just everywhere, and everybody. That'd be the goal.
Well, I'm definitely telling you, Canada's really excited. Everybody's psyched down here. I'm getting a huge vibe from everybody about you coming out here and seeing the band. They're so excited. Hopefully, we're going to make it happen in the very near future. And it's going to be a hell of a show if we get to see it, man. It's something people have been waiting for a long time.
Can't wait. So just let us know.
You
Let
got
us
it,
know.
man. So remember, get in touch with livemusicindiana.com. Give that address to your venues, to whoever you want to, your neighbors, your friends, your kids. Get everybody out to check out this show, man, because it's worth seeing. Anything you want to say to your fans?
There is a slight I've heard the rumblings of me doing some Canadian dates with another artist up there as well. So that is a possibility. So I've got my fingers crossed for that.
There you go, man. So the ball's rolling.
So.
We could see an
Oh, yeah.
announcement soon, man. So you got to check Shadow and the Thrill on Facebook, Twitter, follow them, Instagram. Make sure, man, because as soon as this announcement drops, tickets are going to be going like crazy. I know I'm going to be the first one in line, man. So I actually might just buy them all. Yep, have a private show. Buy every ticket.
Buy them and scalp them. Good grief.
There you go. Now that's a great turnover there. I'd retire off of that. That'd be awesome.
Awesome. Oh, that's good.
So
Good stuff.
I was going to say, do you want to say anything to your fans before you check out? We know that they can reach you on Twitter at Shadow and the Thrill. They can also reach you at Tony Montana. You're also on Facebook, and you're on Instagram as well, correct?
For sure, yes, absolutely. I'm all over the place, and so they're out there. No trouble finding the band or me,
Yeah.
or following Jack Russell's Great White or whatever. But basically, just I want to say thanks for whoever's been paying attention and playing the music, listening to it, giving us a chance, and that specifically for our Canadian friends that have been Great White fans. And hopefully will end up being a fan of this album from Shadow and the Thrill, that we're looking forward to get up there and see. I've always loved being up there, and I've been back and forth from one coast to the other, and many times, and I've always had a wonderful time up there. A lot of my friends live up there, and are musicians from Canada, and so we'll drag a couple of those guys up on stage too when we get up there.
Right on, man. It's gonna be the party of the century, man. People will be skipping the election to catch this show, that's for sure. And I just want to say on behalf of myself and all the fans to thank you, man, for staying in music and delivering all the great music you guys have over the years with Great White, with Shadow and the Thrill. I mean, we really appreciate the fact that you stuck around, because so many people have left the business over the years, and it's a shame, because a lot of talented people got lost in the mix.
It happens. I'll keep knocking it out there, see, as long as people are willing to listen and willing to come out and come out to the shows.
Right on, man. So remember, everybody, check out Shadow and the Thrill. The album's going to drop soon. If you didn't catch the links for where you can reach Tony, I will, as always, keep them all posted for you. So remember, next time, everybody, I just want to say thanks for tuning in. Keep it on 11. This is Bo McManus, Tony Montana, giving you a shout out. Take care, everybody. Until next time, we'll see you later. All right, man? Cheers.
Thanks.